by ResearchGate. Incidentally, this article can be found. Okay, so here's the screenshot of Cuenca English 2020 under Wix site. And again, okay, so, and I'm just going to run through a couple more things here. Online ESL teaching in the era of COVID-19. And just updated the other day, it says Cuenca English 2020, inventor and first in hybrid flexible educational pedagogy. See the world with Cuenca English 2020. My business plan includes scholarships and helping Becca's, is that right? Becca, yeah? Scholarships for students to travel to England, Canada, and the United States for studying abroad. And so this is my long-term strategy for my business model. So see the world with Cuenca English 2020, okay? And let's see. I think that's about it. Oh, okay. Last night, okay? Remember I kept saying matrix, okay? All right, so we were caught in the Instagram matrix last night where I was trying to access using my laptop, but the application only worked on the phone app, and there was no sound. I saw everyone, I heard everyone, but no one heard me or saw me. So that's getting stuck in the matrix. So don't get squashed in the matrix. A lot of you have multiple things happening. You have a laptop, you have an iPhone, you have an Android phone, you have all this technology that you're dealing with, and you're going, how can I handle all this? Well, just relax, and you can do it. Okay?
Jonathan, I'm sorry to interrupt you,
Okay.
because
So,
I want to read a question from the chat. Okay, Lilian Cajamarca was asking if the scholarships are for English, for teachers or for students?
Yes. Answer is yes. I will help anyone who wants to matriculate to the United States or to Canada or the UK or, well, let's see, that I guess there's a few other places, Australia, New Zealand English. So there's really about 5 major countries that teach English. I would be happy to help both a student, high school. Most students that travel to the United States are between the ages of 16 and 33. That's the most common age group. But certainly there are special requirements. If you're working on a master's degree or maybe a doctoral degree and you want to study and say in Toronto, I can certainly assist you in that process of helping you arrange for Becca scholarship and the visa process application. Okay, next question.
So everybody, right now we can start. We can prepare our round of questions to Mr. Jonathan Sewer. Questions can be about all the topic that he has been referring, or you can ask questions about the thing he mentions lately. So feel free now. You can activate your microphone to ask questions, and we can read it from the chat. Okay.
Hello.
Okay, Jonathan, can I ask you a question before some people can ask you? Okay. When you explain briefly about the details, hybrid type of learning education nowadays, we were discussing in the chat room with some colleagues that it integrates some specific parts, okay, features, okay, from other specific type of education. For example, one is flexibility, no? Flexibility is one that is important in this hybrid, no? Okay. Do you think hybrid method, okay, can be, I say, a very significant point to distinguish you from other competitors in the same market when you offer a service in education?
Up front in my I'm the inventor and first in pedagogy and flexible methodology. This is so it's my area of expertise. But one has to be careful because there's a different pedagogical model, and so I believe that there's a lot of research opportunities in hybrid pedagogy. Okay, and so
Jonathan,
achieve.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. I think Edward wants to ask something.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Go on.
I was about to ask Jonathan Stewart a question. Just how effective do you think your method would be? On a scale from 1 to 10, just how effective do you think your method could be?
Well, I'd say it's about an 11 because I'm currently using it, and my students are being very receptive. Okay, case in point, let me give you an example. I have a student, she's from the University of Traditional Setting, online setting, or in-person setting, okay? Then along came COVID-19, and we started doing a hybrid. The application is through the process of meeting sometimes online, sometimes in person, and that's meeting the student where they are when, okay? So it's a combination, not of totally hybrid, and allows for flexibility on the part of both the student and the academician. Does that make sense?
For me, it's totally clear. Thanks, Jonathan. Edward's questions. Edward, was your question fully satisfactory answer, I think?
Well, to some extent, yes, it was, to some extent it was. Because if Jonathan is the inventor of a method, he should be totally confident about his method. It's the same way that, like, I'm totally confident about the mountain effect, which is my technique, which I created a year ago. So that's exactly the answer.
What's the name of that?
The mountain effect.
Sorry, what? The mountain effect.
The mountain effect. That's right. It's a technique. It's something similar to what you've done. In a way, it's a technique for students to learn English, Jonathan, and group. It's another way to help them build their confidence, their self-esteem when it comes to learning a language. So,
okay.
Yeah,
your
answer is exactly what I expected.
Okay, I'd like to read your research on that. That would be great. Okay, next question, Andrés.
Okay, somebody else?
I have a question. I would like to ask a question.
Sure.
Okay, welcome.
I would like to know what would be the difference between the hybrid methodology that you said with the flipped classroom. It will be any different, or it's completely different? The hybrid and the flipped classroom that we have seen nowadays.
Yeah. Well, again, going back to the definition, hybrid pedagogy is meeting the student where they're at. And you could say that there's a lot of similarities between the flipped classroom. And so the flexibility is open. It depends on the teacher. There's no limit. It's how you apply it. It's not the rigid structure of like Montessori. I mean, Montessori in its application. There's very strict ways that they go about their methodology. But mine is open-ended. It depends totally on the teacher and the strengths of the teacher. So it's more a philosophy than it is a specific, you do this and you do this and you do this. Does that make sense, Claudio?
Yes, that's an important issue that you mentioned. It depends everything on how you apply. That's a very, very interesting because I saw the Venn diagram also, and it made me think about the so-called the feedback method when we for teaching we have to analyze the feedback, which is the flexible methodology with you. And the feedback is the technological, pedagogical content knowledge, where you have to analyze where you're at and identify your strengths and identify your weaknesses, etc. So,
I think to me the real benefit of the hybrid pedagogy and flexible methodology is it really lowers the affective filter of the students because you're meeting them where they are, when they are, and so they're much more likely to be engaged in the content. So I think it has a lot of the advantages of the Montessori method, but make it specific for the way that they teach, because every teacher teaches a little bit differently, and that's great. It's more of a philosophy rather than a rigid methodology. And so when I say methodology, I'm using the little m, not the big capital M. I'm talking about methodology as it applies to your specific way of teaching. Does that help?
yes, absolutely. I mean, every teacher has his own context, and that will be depending on the situation and many factors that will affect the teaching and learning processes. Thank you very much. It was nice to hear all of this new stuff.
Thanks for asking.
Andrés.
Jonathan, I'm going to read a question.
Okay.
I'm going to read a question from the chat, okay? From Tatiana Portilla. Could you tell me, please, what is the best way to motivate our students to learn English with our reality? So I think that she's talking about what method or how you approach the students. No?
2 minutes more.
Yeah. Well, okay. I think the thing is to keep it fun. That's fundamental. If it's not fun, if it's not engaging, if they're not having a good time, you're going to lose them. And so you have to do whatever you can to keep the students engaged and fun. And I think that the technology can be your asset in that regard. So that would be the first thing that comes to my mind, to keep students engaged and keep it fun, and to not get bogged down in the minutia. Now I know the teachers at the public high schools have a lot more demands on them than in the university. In the university setting, you're given a little more flexibility, but your high school teachers of English are very limited in their structure, and I feel for them. I know it's very difficult, and so my heart goes out to you. But I would say, as much as you can, keep it fun, keep it interesting. Try new things. If it doesn't work, try something else. Like last night, it didn't work for me. I'm sorry. And I did the Instagram. I need to study up on the Instagram because obviously I was so keep it flexible. And if things don't work, roll with it. Have a plan B. Have a plan C.
That's right.
So that you're always ready for the next thing. Okay, next question.
Okay, somebody else?
Yes,
Any
Carmen.
questions?
Carmen has her hand up. Carmen?
Carmen, you can deactivate your microphone and talk.
Yeah, you need to disactivate your mic, Carmen. Or activate. Activate your mic,
Okay,
Carmen.
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Carmina, yes.
So, thank you. First of all, thank you very much for your invitation one more time. It's a pleasure, seeing a lot of teachers here. And one thing that I want to ask you is that you mentioned that the hybrid method has some similarities to Montessori method, yeah?
Yes.
So which ones you consider are pretty similar?
Well, I would say the fact that are student-centered and
Yeah.
driven by their own natural.
Natural.
Every Saturday, have online transmission for different special.
Okay.
They're natural in which they learn, whether it be visual, auditory, kinesthetic, whatever is their natural means of learning is the best way to go about reaching them on a personal level. And that's what makes Montessori so effective. Now, what's interesting about the Montessori method is it was actually developed for the very poor, and it was actually it was a philosophy, but actually how it was implemented, most of the affluent people were able to take advantage of the Montessori method. But it was actually it was set to be all children to have access to this type of pedagogy, and it's really sad that it's really kind of an exclusive or almost elitist pedagogical model that exists today. Next question.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Andrés, hey Andrés, would it be possible to do a show of hands of how many people here are possible Go teachers, or do you know any Go teachers from the cohort groups of the 2012, 13 in that group? Any Go teachers out there?
Teachers?
I see a familiar face. Yeah, any Go teachers out there?
Can you explain what's a Go teacher? What's that mean?
Okay, well, let's see. I saw one earlier. Angelica from, I think, Loja. I saw her, and of course, Andrés, you were in the Go Teacher program. I'm just curious if there's any other Go teachers out there. But anyway, that's just my own personal question.
Okay, Jonathan, remember that when we invite teachers, English teachers, it's just for, in general, the invitation, especially in the WhatsApp groups. They are mixed. You see it? We are mixing English teachers. There also can be English Go teachers, but I think they are spread up in different WhatsApp groups, no? In this moment, yes, in this moment, I think that some Go teachers were here, but I'm not sure if after the pause we have when everybody goes off with the connection, possibly they remain or they left.
No.
Somebody else have any question?
I see Angelica. How are things going in Loja? Angelica, are you still in Loja? Can you hear me, Angelica? Naranjo?
Yes, but sometimes my internet connection is not very well, so sorry. It's good to see you.
Okay, yes.
Presentation, very well
yes,
done.
Yes, it's good to
you.
see you again. Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Can I ask you something before you leave us?
Sure,
right?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Carmen.
of course.
Yeah, you know, now here we are just starting, like, as you said, a new era in education. Do you consider that is it going to be easy, to get used to teach our kids through platforms? What do you think? Because now, you know, even for teachers, it's totally new, to teach through these online classes. And probably most of us are learning at the same pace as our students. Do you think that it's going to be easy in the future, or that we will get used to quickly? What do you think?
I think there's going to be a learning curve, and so I think that it's going to take some time for some adjustment to happen. The question for me is, what will happen in the fall when we come back to class like this?
That's right.
When we're wearing one of these.
It's true.
Okay.
True.
Now what? Now I'm in the classroom. and my students are in the class. Are we 3 meters apart? And how do we manage this? How do we manage classrooms in this environment? Okay, so this is a big issue, and I don't think we've figured it out yet, honestly. And so, I don't know. I'll throw it out there. I'm just going to pick somebody at random. Let's see. Mr. David Castro. What are your thoughts? Do you mind contributing, Mr. David Castro? What are your thoughts?
Hello there, Professor. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I've been listening to the presentation. Great one. The audio goes on and off though, but I'm trying to put pieces together with the whole presentation though. But I read the presentation there. There's a lot of things I agree there, especially with the entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Where are you at, David? Where are you currently located?
I'm in Guayaquil.
Okay.
Guayaquil.
Do you teach at a elementary school, a high school, or?
Well, right now I'm teaching in an academy, but
university.
I have taught high school too.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Anyone else? Mercedes, Mario, Beatrice, Catherine, anyone?
Fiora.
Fiora?
Yeah.
Yes, I want to ask a question.
I'm glad you didn't crash your car. I remember seeing.
Yeah. Do you know purple
last time you were driving in.
Yes.
Please.
I was afraid.
She was all covered up.
Mister, I want to ask a question for you. The program that you explain, is it free of charge or not?
Absolutely. There is, change is constant in life. That's the one certainty, that there is going to be change. It's how we adapt and evolve and overcome to that makes it successful. So I think if you can maintain a positive, healthy attitude and do what you can, help yourself, help others, like Edward has done in creating his WhatsApp group to share information with other colleagues. It's a tremendous support. If you haven't reached out to Edward Espinosa, I would recommend that you reach out to him. He's waving his hand there. He's in the center top on my screen. Add you to the WhatsApp group if you're currently a member.
Currently, we have 60 teachers from 15 different provinces, including three people from Brooklyn. I think Mario Coelho is one of them. Mario D and Manuel. Manuel from Brooklyn. Paul's from Queens, and I'm from Toronto. So there's a lot of teachers, even from Galapagos. We have
all right. Great.
Really?
Mario, would you like to make a comment, sir? I'm going to say sir. Mario Coelho, I'm sorry.
Okay, because there's like two Marios here. Going back to your question about what kind of problems if we ever get back to the classroom where we're gonna have to be wearing masks. I mean, usually, as long as you set the rules from the beginning, from the very first day, there shouldn't be no problems. There shouldn't be any type of problems. Keeping your classroom regulated, so you could be not in total control, but when it's time for you to teach, students will be able to get what you're saying, and then have them communicating among each other and having the best class results. I mean, I have always stressed that everything should be done on the first day of class, letting them know what's going to happen, what are the do's, what are the don'ts, and that will avoid any kind of problem, because this wearing a mask and having a 3 meter distance is nothing new. I mean, you do it when you're doing testing, except that you don't wear a mask. But that distance it's always been there, and you know, and the only thing will be the mask, and just let them know that to keep it on. But it shouldn't be a problem. It's a good question, though.
Yeah,
it's something to think about.
I appreciate that, Mario, because you're exactly right, Mario, in that as teachers, we are responsible for our classroom environment.
That's right.
We're responsible for our environment, whether that be online, in person, or in some hybrid, flexible methodology.
You could be in the room.
You're in control of your environment, and so you can help to be an advocate for the type of positive change that we need to see during this difficult time. Anyone else? Andrés? I'm not sure how much time we have left.
I'm afraid that we are spending
time for a few more
not
questions?
too much time, but I would ready to share something like a reflection to continue to go on with this with the hybrid learning style you mentioned. Okay, every single way, well, every single teacher's method, the partnership or the leadership of the teacher plays an important role. Any way that you are face-to-face class, virtual class, or hybrid class, the teacher plays an important role because it's the one that manages and controls the environment, the classroom management, and everything that is around it. So in that part, I would say that it is not negotiable, no? There is no negotiable.
Yeah, yes. I agree with you 100%, Andrés, and I think we think very similarly on those lines. And so another potential research partner, okay? And I might just throw this out there. Any of you who are currently working on